And you are on.
Good morning. Happy Thursday. You're never going to believe who I am here with. First of all, did you know the Mojave Community College has the Bighorn soccer team? If you didn't, you're going to find out about it today. We have men and women's, which is so exciting. Look at this. This is Coach Camille. He's going to tell us all about it. Well, first, let's start with how the heck did you get here? I mean, this is Bullhead City.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. What a great opportunity to be here, and fun opportunity. So there was there's somebody just called me and said, hey, there's a school that's starting men's and women's soccer, and they're looking for somebody to lead the way, and I think you might be the guy. So why don't you apply?
Were you like me?
So at the time I was in between. So I was an assistant coach at UNLV in Las Vegas for 6 seasons, and after that our head coach retired. I was the interim head coach for a little bit there. New coaching staff came in, so I moved on to a summer league in Colorado, the USL2, which is like the 4th division of professional soccer in the U.S.
Wow.
So I was the head coach there for the summer, and then this kind of happened around that time. So it was just great timing for me, and I took on the challenge, and here we are.
Here we are, making history. It will be the first sports in Mojave Community College.
Yeah, after over 50 years, we finally have athletics.
And that's really, I mean, there's Kingman, Havasu, so this is big.
Yeah. So, like I tell recruits when I talk to them, over 50 years, never had athletics, never had a housing, never had international students. All of a sudden, it's about to change.
It is about to change. And you're the athletic director as well as the coach. Talk about filling some big shoes, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I'm doing now that I never thought I'd be doing with soccer as a soccer coach. So I'm the athletic director and the men's head coach. We also have a women's head coach, Cynthia Cervantes, who's also doing a terrific job.
This is exciting.
Recruiting and just creating her program and trying to leave a legacy on what she's doing also.
What a unique thing that you guys get to do to really kind of build the program.
Yeah, so everything from the ground up is not just buying cones and balls and then signing up kids. No, it's a lot more than that, unfortunately, or fortunately, because we have a blank slate that we can work with, and the school has given us all the resources and a lot of freedom to really put our vision into place.
That's exciting, especially when you kind of get to, I'm sure you guys sit a lot and just talk about every little last detail and aspect.
We don't sit a lot anymore.
No.
We used to sit a lot, and we don't anymore because the recruiting process is so different with the women than with the men. So we're at different places at all the time. We do try to connect, but yeah, every little detail needs to be sorted and figured out. And not just amongst us, but with other departments in the school. Everybody's been extremely supportive. This is such a exciting adventure, really, for everybody, but also unknown territory for most people. Not only in the college, but in the community. So what I always say is everybody wants to help, they just don't know how. Yeah. So there's a lot of teaching and a lot of explaining on why we need this and why we need to do it this way. But at the end of the day, I think is going to work out. It's going to take some time and a lot of work, but it'll come into place.
Yeah, I mean, it's the baby steps that have gotten you to this far. So we talked a little bit about my excitement with AYSO and having local kids and them having this great opportunity, but the recruiting process is so unlike maybe what us local people would think, because you're really exploring here in town, but everywhere.
Yeah, so we compete or we are going to compete in a extremely good conference for both men's and women's soccer, the ACCAC, which is the Arizona Community College Athletic Conference. Just to kind of put in perspective, Arizona Western was the number 1 team in the nation for Division I for most of the year, and they lost in the conference or in the national semifinal. Wow. on the men's side. Then on the women's side, Arizona Western also lost in the national semifinal. In Division II, which we're combined in the conference, Phoenix College won a national championship. So it's very, very competitive. Pima always top 5 in the country. Yavapai College, which is where I went to school for 2 years and won a national championship in 2007, has won 7 national championships in men's soccer.
Wow.
So it is very, very competitive. So
Yeah.
we look for kids locally, and then we expand to the region, and we go as far as having international kids that we're trying to bring in.
That's exciting. It gives, local kids just an opportunity to really expand their horizons, but to bring in these kids and have this town start to grow with this program and, with Mojave Community College, I think is something that we're all in for a ride for.
Yeah, and for us, it's also been about having diversity in our teams. I think is extremely important. Cultural diversity, also just from a point of view of how can we make this competitive with what we're playing against.
Yeah.
But also, what can we give, like you were just saying, these local kids that is not just soccer. So it's not just about soccer. It's about life. It's about
Yeah.
learning things. I know your daughter went through it, playing college soccer. So it's not just going and playing games. Is learning so many other things, the discipline, the time management, and so on and so forth. So yeah, the way we're trying to do it is like that, and we'll see what it brings, but I think everything's gonna be positive.
Let's talk a little bit about an athletic day for these kids, because again, I think sometimes people downplay what's expected of these kids and how heavy of a day what their time looks like out on these fields.
Yeah, so they're student athletes, so they gotta go to class, right? They're students, and then they're athletes, so they gotta train and they gotta travel and they gotta compete. So our conference for soccer, we're going to be playing Tuesdays and Saturdays. So, for example, the most common trip would be going to Phoenix because there's 7 schools out there. So if we train on a Monday, we'll train at 8 a.m. And then they'll go to class somewhere around 10:30, 11. A couple classes or 3 classes a day. They'll have to obviously try to fit some kind of food before they go to class, and then lunch and dinner. They'll have 1 or 2 times a week a study hall so that they can, again, get good grades and be able to move on after they play with us for 2 years. So that's just on a Monday.
That's just
then,
a Monday.
Then on Tuesday, depending what kind of what place we're going to, but let's say Phoenix, which is about 4 hours away. The next year the men will play at 5:30, and then the women will play at 7:30 or 8. So we'll travel together. So if you say, okay, let's give it 5 hours a trip because we got to stop somewhere and eat and stuff like that. So let's just say 5 hours. The game's at 5:30, so we got to get there at least at 4. So leave here around 11 at the latest.
Yeah.
So on Tuesdays they'll wake up, have breakfast, do a stretch or whatever they need to do. We'll probably meet before we leave just to talk about the itinerary and everything. So we leave at 11, stop somewhere and have some food, keep going, get to the game, play our game. Then the women will play their game at 8. So the earliest probably would leave anywhere would be at 10.
Oof.
Then come back again, let's say 4 hours if we don't stop, but we'll probably stop, but let's just say 4 hours. So we'll be getting back around 2 in the morning. And then the next day they gotta go to training at 8 again, no matter what time we get back, and they gotta go to class and gotta do all these things. Obviously, we could be playing at home also, but
Right.
But that's just like what I would look for an away game. Do it again on Wednesday. Do it again on Thursday, on Friday, and then we play again on Saturday. We could be going away. We could be staying here. We could go to Thatcher, Arizona, which is like 7 hours away. So that's.
It's a heavy load.
As they try to maintain a high GPA and all those things. So
Yeah.
there's a little bit more than just showing up for games on Saturdays.
Right. And I think it's easy to kind of just picture that, but the truth is college is a whole nother level.
It is, and we don't want to give them an easy way out to say, hey, you know what, we traveled till late this morning. You don't have to go to class or don't come to practice. No, they have to do everything. Because for us, it's going to be competitive on the field, and we want them to be competitive in everything they do. We want to be honest in everything they do. So if we recruited you because on the field you worked super hard and you gave everything you had, then when you come here, you got to do the same on the field, but you got to do the same in the classroom. You got to do the same when we do stuff with the community, because we want these kids to be authentic and honest in what they do. So if they show me something here, they got to show me the same in the other areas. And that's kind of what we envision for the programs and for athletics as a whole. So that's the kind of kid that we want to bring in.
Well, the expectation, I'm sure, is set, and they understand that. And, I'm sure your recruiting process really focuses around kids who hold those kinds of...
And unfortunately for the expectations, like I said, I did win a national championship in junior college. So
you're like, we're doing this.
That's my bar. Yeah, that's my bar.
We are doing this.
So I mean, I've done it. I know it can be done. So that's the kind of kid I'm recruiting. For me, winning a game or two, we should do that. Like that's not an expectation. The expectation is, we make the playoffs. We play in postseason. We go as far as we can, and at some point we win a national championship. That's what we want to do. That's what we want to bring for this community.
How exciting would that be? I mean, it's gonna be. Let's just manifest it. You're gonna. This is happening.
Hey, sometimes I never wear it, but sometimes I open the little box and look at the ring and put it out there. Yeah, put it out to the universe. Yeah,
I'm coming back for you.
Yeah.
I love that. So let's talk about the fans. Okay, so this is new to town. You could be having kids from all over. How important is the fans and the community to you, and what does that kind of look like for you guys?
So it is super important. There's different reasons why it's important. Obviously, number one is the experience that we're gonna give the student athletes. Yeah. Just imagine a packed field with people cheering on, with everybody wearing red.
Yeah, we're wearing red.
Just envision that, as opposed to an empty stands and nobody there, and it's hot and it's 4:30 or 5:30 on a Tuesday after being in class or whatever. So just imagine how much of a boost that gives these young kids, where for some of them this is going to be their World Cup, their Champions League. This is as far as they're going to go with their careers. Yeah. So just creating that great experience for them is going to be great. The other piece of it is as a community, right? Like, we want to make this a community event, a family event, where the next generation of Bighorns can come out and see these kids and being able to go to them after games and saying hi and giving high fives and all those things. So it's just going to inspire these young ones to one day, in 5 years or 10 years or whatever, I want to be wearing that jersey. I want to be playing on this field, and I want to represent my county, not just my city, but my county. So that's why it's also important. And it's what a great thing to do on a Saturday night, to come out and watch a soccer game, cheer on the kids that are representing, because it is called Mojave Community College. So Mojave right there in the front of the jersey.
They're wearing our name.
So they're representing this community with pride and hopefully with some success. So just doing that as a Saturday night plan, I think could be great, and just bring that pride and that action to this town, because it is different. I mean, you've seen it. You've seen the AYSO, you've seen the club, you've seen the college, and it's a different speed. Is different kinds of kids. We could be playing against colleges out of Nevada from Vegas, which is not too far away, so they'll bring their fans. When we play Yavapai, I'm sure fans will come from Prescott and from Yuma when we play Western. So it'll make, I think, a fun environment.
I think so too. I mean, I'm sure you've kind of visited the AYSO fields when everyone's out there. We're not shy, I think our town shows up, so I am confident that we'll have stands filled. If you guys don't know, it's actually going to be at the Firebird Fields. They are redoing the whole thing. It's going to be beautiful and amazing. So even for, like you said, for our littles to get to go and have that experience of, the bigger soccer field and kind of really contributing to the program. Yeah,
and I mean, we'll have different programs where, we'll need ball boys. So these kids will be out there, 6 or 7 at a time, working on the field, trying to get the game going. So
I'm excited. I want to be a ball boy. I'm in. Sign me up.
So that part is going to be fun. But yeah, I mean, a lot of things are gonna be happening around games. So obviously the main focus is the soccer and the games. But there's gonna be other activities and other things happening. And this is why I tell Coach Cynthia, people are gonna show up for the first game.
Yeah.
Like for sure.
You're right.
And
Like,
then
it just is gonna happen.
and then it's up to us as coaches and as players to put a good product out there so that they, it's love at first sight.
Keep
They
people
they
entertained.
see it and they're like, you know what, this is what I want to do, and they just keep coming. And that's what we want. We want to create that fan base, not just coming to see these kids because, well, my son plays here or my grandson plays here, so I gotta go. But because this
love
is
it.
something that's fun, that is entertaining, and that we want to cheer on and we want to support.
And college is different. I mean, when you go to any college game, it's just different. It's, again, a whole different level. You get the entertainment of the more aggressive games, different, bigger fields. So I have no doubt that it's going to be.
Yeah, and the thing too is that Mojave Community College through the years has done such a great job in really touching people's lives and having an impact in the community that I think most people have either taken a class or a course or know somebody that's done it, and so there's, I mean, why not support it, right? Like, it's right there. So again, it just comes back to us in the programs doing a good job and just retaining that fan base.
Yeah. Well, and the truth be known, really, that once soccer is successful and this happens, I mean, it won't really stop there. We'll get different sports. It just grows bigger, which means just bigger things for this town. And
yeah, that's the vision, right? In some years, try to grow it. Hopefully, after some successes from not just, I mean, success is not just winning championships. Of course, that's the ultimate goal, but that's not the only success. Graduating kids, moving them on to other opportunities, bringing the financial impact that is going to have with teams coming to hotels and eating at the restaurants, and families coming to see their kids and staying here and buying houses and all that stuff. So it's just going to help, I think, in a bigger way than people think. But we won't see that impact, for a while. But yeah, that is the vision, is at some point growing it with the support of our booster club and administration.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the Booster Club. They're amazing, and have worked really hard to raise money. So if you guys are interested, you can go to the Mojave Community College, the Bighorn site, and they do golf tournaments, they do chili cook-offs. Havasu Kingman, us locally, are really kind of banding together to do a lot of different things to raise money for you guys.
Yeah, there's been different events. So we've had golf tournaments here in Bullhead. We've had one in Kingman already. There's plans for Havasu. The chili cook-off last month, or at the beginning of this month, it was. I mean, I thought it was delicious. So yeah, that was great. But we've done the Booster Club has done bingos. So just a lot of events, and some businesses have put out their own events and then given us the proceeds of that. So it's been great support. But yeah, if you want to get involved, if you want to help, there's a ton of information there on the website. So our athletic website is mojave.athletics.edu. There's links out there for who the coaches are and all that stuff. If you want to get to know us a little bit, but that's the boring part. But there is links to the Bighorn Booster Club and all that.
Yeah. Well, man, I'm excited. I'm so thankful that you came to the show today. It's always nice to put a face to the name, The program's amazing. We have already some kids signed locally, right? And even not locally. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we announced this back at the beginning of November. So the signing period for us, so again, there's much more than just, signing up. Like you have to recruit these kids, and then they have to sign a letter of intent with the NJCAA, and when it gets approved, then we can announce. So the first date to be able to sign this was November 1st. So we on the men's side, we signed 6 local players.
Nice.
So that was a big milestone for us to sign players. And then on the women's side, we announced 5 players. also local. So when we say local, is Mojave County. So we have on the men's side, we have 2 from locally from Bullhead City, and then 1 from Lake Havasu. On the girls' side, I know there's some also from Kingman. And I mean, Lee Williams has had such success with their program. So we're just, again, we're looking under every rock to see where the players are. The season is about to start. I believe is on the 9th. Down the street in the field house, Mojave boys soccer is playing Lake Havasu boys. So that's gonna be a great game for me to just pretty much walk from my office and recruit.
Yep.
So that's
Who do I need out there?
Yeah. So that's good.
Jeff's been showing some pictures. It looks like you guys did kids program.
Yeah. So we've had a couple camps. The first ones we did were ID camps, what we call ID camps. So is to identify players at the high school level or of players that have graduated, in the last 2-3 years and are still wanting to play college soccer. So we did those at the field house back in March. We haven't announced the new date, but it'll be the women's soccer program is going to have one ID camp at the beginning of March. So right after the season, the high school season's over. And then for the men's side, we're going to have it at the beginning of April. So we'll be announcing that soon. And then the other ones that we've had are our youth camps that we had a great one in Kingman. Like I had to close it and we had people call in, can we get in? And we just didn't have enough coaches.
Yeah.
Because for us, it's not just doing a camp and throwing a ball and kids do their stuff, their own thing. For us, it's actually working with them and having a good ratio of coaches to players.
I love that you say that because that's the difference between a coach and a passionate coach.
Yeah. So we had a great camp out there at Kingman High School. And that was back in June, and so we're gonna do that again in June this year or next year, and then we had one at Rotary Park also it was during the heat wave, so we planned everything, and then it was like and they did show up. So this year what we're planning is doing it in May before it gets really hot, but we wanted to do it outside, and we wanted to do it at Rotary Park because that's our home.
Yeah.
That's our home, and we want people to get used to that and also make it their home.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's so windy here that we do have to do these ID camps inside in March and April. But when it gets to the summer and the wind dies down, we want to do as much as we can at Rotary Park so that people can get used to it.
That's good. Jeff, there was a few videos. Let's play the videos.
Yeah, so this is the ID camp. So that's me in black right there, trying to coach some of these kids. Most of these kids were local Mojave County kids. We promoted it locally because we wanted to see them first. But the ones coming up are going to be open to really they were open to anybody, but we're going to promote it outside of just Mojave Community College or Mojave County. And we've had a lot of questions, just inquiries, when is your next camp? We want to see the campus. We want to see the city. We want to come out. So we'll do that again at the field house. It was a fun camp. I mean, the level was high. These kids really wanted to be there, which is always important.
Yeah. I think the one good thing about keeping it a little smaller is that you do actually get those kids who are looking for the next level. They're wanting to come and not just for the social aspect of it, but really.
And I mean, this is just one group. We had 2 groups going on at the same time, actually, on the other side of the field.
Do you have the other video, Jeff? I think there was 2.
And so here you can see more kids. We had around 25 or 30 on the boys' side, on the men's side, and then on the women's side we had similar numbers like 23, 24. So it was actually more than I thought we were going to get. I thought, if we get 20 on each, we'll be happy. So we got a little more than that. So it was exciting, and it was good.
Well, congratulations. Welcome to town.
We got a question.
We got a question.
Here we go.
Will they bring more retired soccer players for the kids to meet?
Well, that's a great question. We'll see. I never thought about it, but maybe. I do have some
open to suggestions.
former teammates that that are actually still playing. So I'll just have to wait for them to retire in a couple of years. They're getting up there. They're going to do 36, 37. So
at some point you got to call it
come on.
quits.
Get done and come to Bullhead City and meet some kids.
Yes. Well, thank you for coming to town. Thank you for heading this program. We need coaches like you, and you guys showed up, and I think it's going to be successful. We'll come out and support you. You guys have any questions or concerns? Hit them up on, Facebook, Instagram. They're all there.
Yeah, and I do want to promote our Instagrams because we created them not too long ago. So for the women's program is Mojave W Soccer.
Okay.
And then for the men's program is Mojave M Soccer.
Easy. Can't
Super
even
easy.
forget it.
Super easy.
Nice. Well, thank you for coming again.
All
I
right.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
Hey
Anytime.
guys, shop local, support local. Watch for Mojave Community College Bighorn. They've got a lot going on, and we'll look forward to showing up for your games.
Yeah, go Bighorns.
Go Bighorns.